Today on Community Cooking, we have guest chef and Apra in the kitchen making a farmer's market inspired brunch menu, starting with a potato rosti with sweet Maui onions served next to an egg scramble with gorgonzola and fresh herbs. And to top it off, a fruit parfait with Greek yogurt and toasted pumpkin seeds. You won't want to miss this meal. We're cooking with some of the best chefs from right here in our own community. So grab a seat, relax. We've got another great show for you. This is your Community Cooking. Hello and welcome to Community Cooking. I'm your host, Kirk Leins, and in our kitchen today is personal chef and caterer Ann Apra. Hi, Ann.
Hello, Kirk. Good to see you again.
Again, I know, and a little bit quicker turnaround time this time, right?
I love it. I love coming back, and I love the new set. It's
Instead of years, it was more like weeks or something.
It feels like moments.
Well, we've got like another really great farmer's market menu here today, correct?
Absolutely. The city of Torrance's farmer's market gives me so much inspiration,
and
that's why I did this menu.
You always stay true to that theme. You really do.
Yes, because you have so much to offer here.
Right, and why not? I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful produce, and that's what it's all about. We're doing it fresh. We're doing it right here in front of you.
And seasonal, and you can do this particular dish all year round, which is great. But it always makes me more inspired when I see the beautiful farmer's market produce. It makes me think, what am I going to pair this with?
Well, let's talk potato rosti.
Let's talk potato rosti.
Tell everyone what potato rosti is.
Potato rosti. Well, potato rosti is like an Italian-inspired version of a potato pancake, like a latke, if you will.
Okay.
What we do is we're going to take some nice olive oil. I've steeped this with a little bit of rosemary.
Okay.
We're going to saute some of the Maui onions with a little bit of rosemary and some garlic. And then we're going to shred up some beautiful russet potatoes that have already been washed, and we're going to fry them and turn it into a fun little layered pancake. And then we're going to flip it, which is really fun.
I have a feeling I know who's going to be doing the grating of the potatoes, right?
Well, since you were so kind to offer, and I want to share a little trick with this, and for our viewers at home, they may want to know. Potatoes have a lot of moisture in them. So when you grate them, it does release a lot of moisture. So this is a nice way to get rid of that extra water. If you didn't want to, say, use your food processor.
Right.
So you're going to just grate them on the coarse side of the box grater, and you're going to collect them in a clean tea towel that doesn't have a lot of lint. You're going to do that until you've done, I think 2 potatoes are enough. 1 potato, 2 potato.
Sounds good to me.
And then we're going to squeeze them out, and you're going to put whatever excess liquid might come out into a side bowl or in the kitchen sink. In the meantime, I am going to slice some onions up. This nice Maui onion. I'm not even crying.
Now, you're pairing this with, you're kind of doing, brunch or brunch for dinner, if you will.
Yes, exactly. Any time of day.
But a rosti can be, underneath any sort of protein, right?
Absolutely.
It's great with a steak.
Oh boy, and how?
Or any sort of like chop or poultry or anything.
Absolutely.
And it's a really a nice. It's a different way to deal with potatoes.
I love it.
I think we've got, everyone's done baked and everyone's roasted them, and but this is a whole different thing, and I think that texturally it's really pretty awesome because of it's like hash browns but compressed.
Exactly, and it's more elegant looking too. It's a really pretty dish to add and wow your friends with. While you're grating, I'm going to start sauteing, but I'm just bluing the spices. I don't know if you probably know this because you're a chef. You put in your spices ahead of time and a little cracked pepper, and you let them have a chance for the oil just to kind of release their natural oils.
You see this technique a lot in Indian cooking, where it's very spice heavy.
Yes.
And a lot of those spices are in the form of whole seeds.
Yes, the cumin and the mustard seeds and all that. It just toasting anything, I think, brings out the flavor.
It's coming my way. That smells great.
Wafting. Then I'm going to, of course, chop a little bit more of this and just add it to it. Give a little more infusion of the flavors. And it brings a lot of life into the potato. These potatoes, we love them, and we love them fried. We love everything fried. But they don't have a lot of flavor a lot of times on their own, so you have to add stuff to them.
You know what else is good about this dish?
Tell me.
I'm getting an incredible shoulder and forearm workout.
No gym for you tonight, or you're going to earn your rosti. All right, these are starting to sweat down really nicely. I'll probably take out this nice big stem right before we go. In the meantime, I'm going to heat up my other skillet, and I'm going to add a little bit more of the olive oil to it, and this is going to be the basis of our roasty.
Okay.
All right, and I think a half an onion is plenty since it's 1 potato, 2 potatoes.
Right, and then it's going to shrink down, I mean, a little bit there. And
exactly.
You don't want it to be more onion than potato.
You really don't, and you can always adjust it, because what we're going to do is we're going to make a layer. We'll take the potato. In fact, I'll go ahead and grab the first round, because I'm going to do like a layer of them.
I mean, we're good. I mean, this is almost
fun.
I just kind of went down to the ends here.
I love it. Just going to grab a little bit since my pan got hot, and just start the beginnings of the form to form the base of the pancake.
Okay.
Because we want it to get nice and crispy, and if it's thin, it's going to crispen up a little quicker, because you know we're on
how much liquid we can get out of here.
Time. Yeah.
Look at that.
Nice, beautiful. And this is also a trick they use for making potato pancakes.
Yeah.
And then they save the starch at the bottom and they put it back in, and it helps bind the potatoes when you make your pancake. You don't have to use as much flour. And it's actually, potato starch is a great way. Again, gluten-free options. Many people are doing the gluten-free diet right now.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is great. I really do love this technique quite a bit. And I mean, it's so versatile. And I mean, look, I mean, those 2 potatoes, and we, did that in just a few minutes.
All right, and I took out the big stem. There's the other one.
There we go.
All right, and these have sweated down really nicely. So I'm going to add just a little more potato to the bottom.
Get this out of the way.
Beautiful. And I can see that the oil is nicely bubbling.
Great.
I'm just kind of compressing it down. This could be fun, of course, for the heat for the kids. Kids could help with this if they're old enough to
I think I'm going to make them grate the potatoes. That's what I'll keep them away from the flame, but I'll make them grate the potatoes.
Oh, great.
And if you had, like you said, a food processor at home, you would just put in the grating option.
Exactly.
And it would be, and I mean, and you're not, it's not like you're having to peel them and grate them.
No, it's too exhausting. So I just minced a couple of cloves of garlic. I know you're a fan of garlic.
Love it.
All right, and look at how pretty. These are already starting to caramelize.
Yeah.
Because they're added to the potatoes, you want to make sure that they're sweated down. There's not so much moisture in it, because you really want this to work on cooking.
And you don't want them too crunchy in the middle either. You kind of do want those a little, like you said, broken down.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to let that keep roasting. Oh, good. I can hear the sizzle. That's the sound we want.
And you could also, I mean, gosh, there's all kinds of things you could put in the middle there, right? I mean, other vegetables you could saute.
Roasted vegetables, roasted peppers.
Sure.
If you want to make more of a meal of it, you could put pancetta or bacon.
Ooh, yeah.
Turn your bacon and an egg meal into the potato roasty.
Right. You could do a little truffle salt in there, a little truffle oil.
Mushrooms, sauteed mushrooms. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're giving me such inspiration, Kirk,
right?
For our farmers market.
I think you could. I mean, you could probably it's almost even like a restaurant concept. You could build like sort of meals around different roasty, right?
Oh, sure.
How fun! I mean, it's like a big, awesome hash brown potato
pancake.
Love.
And as it cooks, it gets that nice crispy golden brownness that we just love so much. All right, so now I'm just going to top some of the potato. Obviously, we didn't need all of them, because this is a smaller skillet. Now, I could have put it in a bigger one, too, if I were feeding maybe 4 people or so, because once you taste it, you're going to, like, this half is me and that half is you. If you're doing more, or you can cut them small, because after I flip it, it will look like a potato pancake, and you'll be able to take it out and slice it into little pie-shaped pieces.
Right.
And it's really fun with eggs.
Or even serve it right in that skillet. You could go right to the tabletop in that.
Absolutely.
Or whatever you were putting on top protein-wise could go on top of that, and then it could all come to the table.
How about a poached egg?
I like that idea.
Oh, my. All right. I'm going to have to come back, and we're going to do this again.
But not one poached egg. I'm thinking like 3 or 4.
One for you, one for you. All right, I'm just going to check it and see how it's looking. Yep, it's getting close. And sometimes, depending on how high your heat is, it's okay to add a dollop more of olive oil. Because after I turn it, I'm actually going to be adding a little more olive oil to it anyway, which I'll show you. It's a fun little trick. And it's a real crowd pleaser.
Yeah, because you want that to release as well.
You do, exactly. And I'm using the side of a spatula. You can use a wood spatula if you want. With a cast iron, it's okay if you use metal, because the wood, certainly with a nonstick, you don't want to scratch your nice hands. All right.
There's a similar dish to this where instead of grating the potatoes, you slice the potatoes and you turn them out in sort of concentric circles, and then it's a little bit of salt, olive oil, and like Parmigiano Reggiano.
Ooh.
and you keep layering that up, and that's called potatoes Anna.
Yes, potatoes Anna. I've made that.
Love that dish too.
That is really fun. I'm glad you mentioned salt too. I forgot to season our potatoes.
And potatoes
Never
need salt. Yeah, no, you're going to be fine, and you're going to also can season the other side when you're.
Absolutely.
They do request, and potatoes and eggs.
Yeah,
have to have a decent amount of salt.
They really
right?
do, and that's fine. You know, if people are having a low sodium diet, you can use a salt substitute.
For sure.
You can just modify, or you can use spices. Like we have garlic and rosemary. Spices sometimes really help
Herbs
with
and,
open up the flavors,
Yeah.
so that they don't have to use as much sodium. Because
Right.
I do a lot of teaching for senior citizens,
Right.
and teach them healthy cooking.
Yeah,
and that's
I mean, if
part
there's
of
health
the thing.
concerns, then right, you
Go
might not
easy
wanna,
on the salt.
Right.
Oh, this looks like it's getting ready.
Cool.
Okay. Do we have time for me to flip it now?
Absolutely, we
Let's
have time
do
to
it.
flip it. We're not going anywhere.
All
I'm
right,
gonna watch
good.
this.
This is the fun part, and it's a little tricky. So you saw I took the spatula and just kind of loosened it.
Just sort of around the edges.
Exactly,
Loosen the edges,
exactly.
Okay?
And this is when we pray. This is the exciting part.
Right.
Because you never
we say
know.
a little prayer here.
Exactly. So you hold it over and make sure that it's not too hot. Let me get a towel just
Yeah, I was
in
going
case.
to say, how's that handle?
Right. Not too bad. All right, and you're going to take a plate that about fits the same size, and you're going to carefully turn it over.
It's going to all come back together again.
You bet it will. And here we go. Back in.
There you go.
Listen to that sizzle. All right, so this is just going to roast for a few more minutes. I'm going to turn down the heat.
Okay, well, I think this is probably a really good time to go to break. We'll kind of get cleaned up here, and then we're going to come back and we're going to make a scramble and a parfait, and
It'll be très parfait.
yes, perfect. All right, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back to Community Cooking. I am here with personal chef and caterer Ann Apra, and we just made a delicious potato rosti, which we've kind of got finishing up there, and now we were going to start on our scramble.
Yes, we are. So I think what we'll first do is let's get some of these vegetables chopped. We've got our farmer's market produce abundance. We have tricolored peppers.
All right.
We have some beautiful baby spinach.
I'm going to get going on this for you.
Off you go. Look at these gorgeous heirloom cherry tomatoes. I mean, aren't those absolutely precious?
Yeah.
And very sweet.
And once again, something else that you can really sort of switch up the vegetable that you're using.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you want all of these peppers, or I mean, it just kind of took half?
I think half, because
we
again,
got other
it's just
veggies,
one
right?
potato, two potato, you and me. And I'll just do a quick rough chop of these two. And we'll get, the pan is already nice and hot. Going to add in a little olive oil. We're just going to use that same rosemary steeped one, because that's awfully
yeah, why not,
fun.
right?
It smells great. It kind of pairs with the Italian theme that we're doing here. All right, plop those right in there.
Those right in there for you.
Gorgeous. Oh, those are nice. I don't think we need the other one. Now, can you also help me? I just want to do some of these cherry tomatoes.
Absolutely.
I want to just cut them in half.
Lengthwise?
Yeah, just like that. So pretty.
I like that when you go the lengthwise cut. I don't like that crosswise cut.
No, no.
It's a weird looking cut.
Especially when, look how beautiful that
Yeah, these really are nice.
They're
these
screaming.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to add them to a little hot oil. I'm just going to blister them a little bit. Just kind of gives them a little char and adds a little depth of flavor. Kind of like toasting like we did before.
There you are.
And just the tiniest pinch of salt. Very good. All right.
It's a very healthy meal.
Absolutely. And again, brunch you can have all day long.
Well, and also, too, you know, I think that you know, Americans are really the only people who associate eggs with breakfast or brunch. You know, you go to the rest of the world, especially throughout Europe.
Yes.
That's like lunch and dinner.
Right?
You know,
a poached egg on top of anything becomes now an elegant meal.
Correct.
You can have it on top of a steak.
And I think that the thing that people kind of forget about is we're talking, it's a really easily digestible protein.
Yes.
It's inexpensive. I mean, for a dozen eggs you can get for about $3, and that's going to feed an entire family of 4.
Exactly, and you don't need all these eggs for the 2 people. And these, by the way, are brown organic. You can get them at the farmer's market.
Perfect.
You can get everything.
I love eggs. I'll eat 3 eggs, no problem. But also too, they're versatile. I mean, the amount of things that you can do with the egg, it's sort of countless.
Absolutely.
And best of all, quick.
I love quick.
Right?
And it's something that most families at home have in their refrigerator pretty much any time, unless they're a vegan, of course.
I grew up occasionally having breakfast for dinner, and I loved it as a kid. I loved it because we used to get, instead of having to drink milk, we would get chocolate milk. And so it was like the best thing. And, it's funny. It's like my kids love it as well. They love breakfast for dinner. It's a big thing for them.
It's super fun. Well, let's go ahead. Speaking of eggs, let's go ahead and get them whisked up and seasoned.
Okay.
We'll get a lot of air into them because I find if it get a little airy and a little room temp, they tend to get a little fluffier.
Right. I've noticed, too, that with the brown eggs, the shells are a lot, harder. There's some there we go. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
They're a thicker shell.
Just like you. You have a thick shell.
Most of the time.
And a gooey center.
Most of the time.
How funny. I think that might be, what do you think, 4 eggs is enough for the two of us? Or shall we just go ahead and do the whole thing?
I'd do the whole thing.
Why not?
You cannot have to. And here's the other thing about eggs. They're good at room temperature. Scrambled, at least. Like scrambled or like a frittata at room temperature. Very good. You don't have to eat them hot. I mean, really the only, like a poached egg or a fried egg, you kind of want that warm and gooey, But scrambled eggs or frittata, you're good.
Bring it on.
This.
All right. These are starting to wilt. Since we had onions in the potato roasty, I opted not to put them in here. But I think what I might want to add to this is some chives for a nice finish. I love having fresh herbs. I'm just going to wander on and
Please do. We got some right behind me there.
Handful. We'll also use some of these beautiful fresh herbs towards the end to finish it as well.
Okay, and you wanted me to put a little bit of cream and a little bit of salt and pepper in here, correct?
Yes, please.
All right.
And again, if you're if you don't do dairy, then you can easily substitute it with water or soy milk or just plain. You don't need to have them at all.
Yeah, I don't add any sort of liquid to my eggs personally, but I mean, I have done cream before.
Yes.
If I was going to add any liquid, it would be cream.
And that's half and half.
Half and half. Okay.
You can go even more fat. I figured I got to try and save calories anywhere I can.
I hear you.
Oh dear. All right, so this is looking really pretty.
Great.
So we've got a nice wilt on the spinach. Our tomatoes are blistering up just a little bit, and I can see that our zucchini is just starting to soften.
And our eggs are ready to go.
Wonderful. All right, so kind of French style. It takes forever to do them, so that's kind of the bummer. But it's a good, if you're worth the wait. But
that's how I like it, though. That soft scramble.
Soft scramble, and you just kind of have to be here to babysit them.
And you just keep stirring it and stirring it and creating those small curds.
Exactly, and I love that you said that. So I figured since I'm going to be kind of buried here, maybe I could get you to help me with our next dish.
Oh, what would you like me to do?
Well, we're going to make a Greek yogurt parfait. It's very parfait.
Okay.
So I have some Greek yogurt. It's non-fat. It is not sweetened. It's plain.
Okay.
I have some raw honey.
Okay.
I have blackberries, blueberries, a farmer's market choice, whatever ones you love. And I have some pepitas, which I'm going to toast while I'm babysitting my eggs. So if you would kindly pass me the pepitas to start.
I will do that.
I will put them in this.
And what would you like me to start with here? Would you like me to cut berries, or would you like me to sweeten your yogurt?
Let's start with slicing some of those strawberries.
You got it.
And then we'll sweeten the yogurt. So I'm just putting a nice fistful of raw pepitas. You can get them already toasted. I think this seems to be the theme today of toasting everything. I love toasting my own nuts ahead of time. I'd rather buy them raw that I can control.
But I think it's so important, regardless how you buy, to roast it, because they've been sitting, and those oils sort of they calm down, and you kind of want to wake them back up.
Exactly.
And the difference between in the flavor of a roasted nut and just a plain nut, it's pretty big.
It's night and day.
Yeah.
And with this particular parfait, you can use any nut, for heaven's sakes. Choose your nut.
Sure.
But you can also use some chia seeds if you want to add some extra protein, or some hemp seeds.
Granola.
Or granola, or muesli, or anything like that. Boy, this is coming along nicely. I'm going to turn it off the heat. And we're just going to let it kind of finish. I'm going to add in those herbs, and we're going to stir in a little gorgonzola, which I figured we're doing roasty today.
Yeah.
Let's just add the Italian element to it.
Sounds good to me.
So when it's best to add cheese after you take it off the heat and just let the residual heat melt it and get nice and gooey.
And did you want me to sweeten up this yogurt here?
I would love you to.
Okay.
We'll add a little of that raw honey to it to taste.
All right.
Don't go crazy, because the sweetness of our farmer's market berries are really going to give us a lot of flavor. And I'm thinking, while you're sweetening that up, I may add a little basil, since we're going Italian, and maybe a little bit of flat leaf Italian parsley to the top of our scramble.
Why not?
Right?
Yeah.
A little chiffonade here.
I'm going to mix this in.
Oh, yeah, you got the fun job.
Okay.
All right, let's do a light, nice and fresh. And so we've got the Rosti is ready.
And you know what? You can also with this, if you want to make it sweet, but let's say you don't want the sugar, you can go like stevia or something like that.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. Or a little maple syrup, because the B grade is good for you. Got a little extra nutrients. Or if you just like your berries, the tartness, just leave them. Okay. Would you hand me the little brown bowl? I have some cinnamon and nutmeg. I figured that would be kind of a nice way to add
I can smell it.
Element of flavor to our pepitas. And again, a little goes a long way. And that's it. Just dry toasting, just until they start to change color. Right,
and that is a process there that you do not want to really walk away from that pan, right?
Oh, and I've had them in the oven before and just forgot
and you know
it's so sad.
It really is. It's a very frustrating. Especially when you've like burned the last of what you have on hand.
Right, and no one wants to go to the market after they're done. Okay, these are good to go.
That's good.
Wonderful. Okay, so maybe while we're letting all the rest of this cool, why don't we start our layering?
Start layering some parfaits here.
Tray parfait.
All right. Let's see here. We don't have a bigger spoon over there, do we?
I bet we do.
Let's see if we do. I think it'd just be.
Oh, you know what? I have one right here.
Okay.
I thought ahead and forgot to put it out for you.
Let's do that.
Yeah, and you can use any kind of a vessel. Like if we were doing family style, maybe I'd want to have it live in something like that. Or you could put them in really cute little mason jars. You could, clear is always better. Any kind of a stemware glass is nice.
Okay, about like that.
That looks good.
And then we'll go with a little bit of strawberry.
There you go.
And we're going to go a little bit of raspberry.
I want to do one. I want to do
one.
Oh,
go. You do
See, this is fun for the kids to do, too. It's a healthy, fun treat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be for breakfast. It could be for dessert at night.
For sure.
Like we were chatting before about how many of the cultures they have, the Greeks, for example, they have it for breakfast and for
dessert,
lunch.
right, or snack, or like a mid-afternoon snack. You want something, you know, a little bit sweet.
Add a little bit of these for the crunch factor. Okay. Now the hemp seeds and the chia seeds and all that other fun protein, or the oats, that would be really fun to dig into.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong. You can sort of make this your own. It's like going to one of those froyo places and sort of creating your own dessert.
Okay, and there's mine.
And I'm going to get some of those
pepitas.
Yes,
please.
And we're pretty much done, aren't we?
I think so too. I'm going to flip the Rosti, and I think we're ready to taste.
Great. Well, I tell you what, why don't we take a break?
Okay.
We'll clean up all this, and then we're going to come back and eat.
Fantastic. I'm hungry.
Great. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Awesome.
All right.
Alexa, how do you tell if asparagus is still good?
If it's not moldy or slimy, it's okay to eat.
Enable the new skill from Save the Food on your Amazon Alexa and help fight food waste.
Welcome back to Community Cooking. I am in the kitchen with Apra, and we are ready to eat.
Yay.
We have got our beautiful potato roasty here. Look how nice that looks.
I love the caramelized onions.
I do too. I do too. And here we've got our scramble with all these wonderful vegetables and herbs and gorgonzola cheese. And our wonderful Greek yogurt parfaits with berries and toasted pepitas. Yum. That is awesome. Tell you what, why don't you start cutting into that? Hand me that plate.
Very good.
And I will start dishing you out some eggs.
I'm going to make sure you get lots of these nice caramelized onions.
I would appreciate that.
Sure.
I would really appreciate that.
How fun. Now, I liked your idea about how you were going to maybe add some mushrooms to it or some other kinds of dishes.
Whatever needs to be used up, right?
Exactly. Waste not,
That's how we're going to roll.
All right, I'm going to slice this little guy right there.
These eggs look nice and creamy. There it is, yours.
Now, you're welcome to salt and pepper them more Remember, I was err on less salt,
Okay.
but we'll taste it and we'll see.
You know, I think you're going to be okay here because of the gorgonzola. You know,
Certainly.
the gorgonzola, that's going to bring some saltiness to it, and I don't think you want to go too heavy there.
No, no.
And plenty
You
of
know
those
what would be
veggies.
really nice with the scramble would be some fresh farmer's market fresh avocado.
Yeah.
Or a fresh salsa.
Yeah, you name it.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's go scramble first.
Let's do scramble first.
All right.
All right. I want some of that ooey gooey gorgonzola.
Yeah, the salt was perfect.
Well, you did it. Thank you.
You know, it didn't need any more because of that gorgonzola.
You're absolutely right.
It's really delicious.
Creamy. Thank you.
Creamy, and once again, these it's so important for vegetables to have like a chew to it, right?
Yes, a little bite, but just a little bit
Right.
of like toasting again. Our word of the day.
All right, I'm going into the rosti, and it smells so good. It's got such a great deep onion smell to it.
And it can get as crisp or as gooey as you want, but because we layered it with the onions, all that moisture stayed inside. So you got the crispness on the outside and the gooiness on the inside.
That is rocking.
Let's see. Oh my goodness.
The texture on the outside is really, really nice, and it's so creamy and awesome on the inside.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah, I could eat this. I could eat this a lot. That is really delicious.
Put a little smoked salmon on top of it.
Yes, yes, a little bit of creme fraiche, right?
Oh, maybe a
Right?
little caviar.
And I'm doing this.
well, you could make them all kinds of
bite.
sizes. You could make them big or small, appetizer sized. Make them for dinner.
The potatoes with the eggs, incredible.
Oh.
And look what we have to
To wash it down.
cleanse our palates with.
Our lovely Greek yogurt Parfait.
Yes. All right. I'm
Will it
going
be
here.
parfait?
All right.
And these strawberries look beautiful. A little pepita.
The pumpkin seeds are so nice.
A nice chew to it as well.
And
Just a little bit of
you
seasoning.
really need that crunch because it's
Yeah.
you know you've got texture in the berries, but the yogurt is so creamy that you want that hard crunch.
Yeah, you've got the acidity of the yogurt. You've got the sweetness of the honey, which, by the way, you seasoned beautifully.
Well, thank you.
The fresh vegetables, the vibrancy, that acid in that too. It's a win.
Chef Ann, you knocked it out of the park.
Thank you, Chef Kurt.
You gonna come back and do this?
I would love to. What will we make next time?
I don't know. Put my thinking cap on.
Give me a
Do
call.
the same.
Oh, well.
Perfect, perfect. And thank you for watching. It just goes to show you we really are cooking with some of the best chefs from right here in our own community. On behalf of myself, Chef Ann, the crew here at Community Cooking, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
If you'd like a copy of the recipes seen on this show, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to the Office of Cable and Community Relations. That's 3350 Civic Center Drive, Suite 200, in Torrance, California, 90503. Be sure to note the show number displayed on the screen. And don't forget you can find all the fresh ingredients used on today's show at the Farmers Market. Visit the one here in Torrance at Wilson Park. That's located at 2200 Crenshaw Boulevard. They're open every Tuesday and Saturday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m., rain or shine. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us at communitycooking@torranceca.gov and check us out online at youtube.com/TorranceCityCable and like us on Facebook at Community Cooking TV.